Guys, welcome to another week of Taberne Talks. I'm Alex Taberne, your host for the day. I welcome you guys back for another fun-filled episode. Hopefully you got last week's episode with Chris Summers, who was our lead guest. Hopefully you'll tune in every week. Taberne Talks is every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. we air. So tune in, subscribe. All of my family, friends, I'm looking for everybody to check us out and hopefully get some information every week on real estate that you would need to know in order to keep you going. So this week I have a very special guest. I've been waiting to get him on. So I said, let's do the second episode with him. He's a South Philly guy like me. Both are local. I always say stick with a local realtor and a local lender, right? So I figured he would be the guy to really lead us out here and get us going. Mike G with Century 21 on Passyunk Avenue. I've done business with them before, so I know them well. I know his father. He has a great family. So you definitely are going to want to hear this episode and hear all about him. So Mike, take it away. Tell us about yourself.
Alex, thank you. Pleasure to be here. Mike Giangiodano, the second Century 21 Forester Real Estate, as Alex said, in the heart of South Philly, right on East Passyunk Avenue. We've been there for close to 100 years. My father and I are co-owners of the business, and my dad's been in the business about 40 years. We're not only realtors, but we do rentals, property management. My dad's an appraiser as well, and we're licensed in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. As Alex said, I'm Philadelphia born and bred, grew up 2 blocks from the office, never left, still live there, work there.
Crazy. Love it.
Went to St. Joe's Prep for high school and then Drexel for business.
As local as they get, this guy.
Stayed through and through.
Yeah.
I really am a big believer in the city of Philadelphia.
Right. That's
I
awesome.
love this city. But been working about 10 years in the real estate business, although I say since birth. Because
I was going to say, because your dad's been in it for so long, so I'm sure he got you in.
I was always around him. You know, it was like, take your son to work day. Well, it was with my dad every year.
Right.
So doing the same thing.
Right. Which is awesome.
But we have a good relationship. We have a good team, as you kind of alluded to, an experienced team, and we have a lot of years of experience in the office, and we really know our market, and we know Philadelphia and we know South Philly. And now we're knowing more of the burbs in Jersey as we do more.
I mean, you guys are like a staple on Passyunk Avenue. Like, how many real estate offices are over there around you?
We have 3 on the avenue.
Right.
But we're the oldest that's still around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we're right in the heart, right on East Passyunk. We've been there almost 100 years.
Okay.
Still in the same neighborhood. I actually went on a listing.
You're 100 years old now.
I know. I look good for 100. I look good.
You look really good. Yeah, I like it.
I didn't age at all.
No, not at all. You look great. I mean, you know the fountain of youth somehow, so.
I went on a listing appointment like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And the guy said to me, my parents bought their first house from Mason Forrester, who was the original 3 owners of the business.
That's
he was
crazy.
on the avenue. He was a real person. Mason Forrester.
Wow.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
I mean, it can't get much older than that.
Right.
I mean.
How old is your dad now, just to ask?
He's 69.
Wow.
He'll be 70
he's young.
next year. Yeah.
He's
young. Never going to retire.
Right. He's still working.
Oh, he loves it.
Right.
He loves it.
He probably will retire and not know what to do. He'll sit around all day and be bored.
He'll be bored.
Right.
I mean, he enjoys beating up on some of the newer agents.
Right.
Trying to teach him a couple.
Well, that's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how many young agents, are you bringing young agents in the office or what?
A few. My cousin.
Are you trying to stay more experienced? I
think we're more about experience and having your own little book of business.
Okay.
And your consistent business.
Yeah.
Because that's more important in the long run. Because as you see, and and I know, when the market slows, you got to be prepared.
Sure.
And you have to have a consistent referral business or rentals, property management like we do.
Yeah.
You got to be diversified.
Are you seeing more rentals right now than actual residential deals, or what's going on?
When rates went up,
you see more rentals.
People moved into the rentals.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
the rental prices are going up too.
The rents started to go up, but then they've come down. They've leveled off a little bit.
Okay.
So they're still up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's still better to buy though.
Oh yeah.
The cost of owning is less than renting.
Well, sure, because these rents are going crazy.
Yeah.
At $3,000 a month, and
It's crazy. Some of the numbers,
right?
It's nuts.
Even in South Philly, they're asking that now.
Yeah.
Right.
If you have a whole house,
That's insane. So, all right. So listen, the reason why I had you on the show is because I know that you know the inside of what's really going on in South Philly real estate.
Yeah.
Okay. You're on the street, right? I'm a mortgage guy behind the computer all day trying to make your deals work, right? And if we got a problem and the income's messed up, the credit's messed up, whatever. So I go out on the street to closings, but you're the guy that's on the street that sees the firsthand people. And I'm sure you're going into houses that you're seeing things too. So with South Philly over the past 5 years, let's go back from 2018 until now. 2018. What's the difference between 18 and what I said last week in my opening show was 18 and 19 to me were a great market.
They were. They were good years.
It was normal.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't like you did normal deals. They weren't overbidding each other. They weren't going crazy. Now, look what's going on, right? 2023. So what do you think the difference in South Philly is from the buyers and sellers that you're seeing in 18 versus what you're seeing now?
Well, in 18 and 19, it was a normalized market.
Yeah.
There was enough supply, maybe a little too much supply, but still strong demand. But right now, there's no supply, but there's still demand.
Okay.
Even though rates went up and prices are still going up.
Right. Now, is there inventory in South Philly right now that you're seeing that are coming on, or is it?
Things are coming on, but I don't think anywhere where they should be.
Okay.
I think the inventory is still pretty light.
It's still low.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about crime affecting South Philly buyers from coming in?
I don't think that's a big deterrent.
So is that like a lot of people ask me that, Alex, why do you live in Philly? There's so much crime there. What's your take on that? As far as a buyer coming in and you saying, are you seeing that that's deterring good people from leaving or coming in? Or
I don't think so. I think you still see a turnover, which is somewhat natural. Maybe they have a family, they have a few kids, they want to move to the burbs because they're ready. They're outgrowing their space.
Sure.
Maybe, unfortunately, the parents pass away and the kids want to sell the property.
Right.
Or, they want to sell the property and an investor comes in, they flip it, and then another, family or somebody
comes in
from somewhere else buys.
Right.
I mean, I still see a lot of migration from other areas
into the city. Okay.
Yeah. New York. I just had somebody this weekend from California.
Come here.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had a sale 4 weeks ago. Guy sold his house in South Jersey, moved it back into the city because he wanted to be in the city. He wanted to be in the heart of, and he moved right into Passyunk.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
He wanted to be close to the restaurants, to the shops, be able to walk, go to the stadiums, go into town. That I think Philadelphia will remain pretty strong and consistent.
Do we need new leadership, do you think, to make sure that the city returns back to 2018? Or is that a big factor? Or is it just, we just need another cycle?
Well, I think that we are going to have some new leaders coming in. We're getting a new mayor. We're going to have
which is going to
pretty
help.
much new city council.
Right.
I think that will help. And I think that if we can get to the root of some of the problems that we have here, we're going to be able to help everybody.
Okay.
I ran for state. That's why you're asking me that question.
I was checking you.
I
wanted to make sure that you stayed on your, your campaign scheme there.
In 2022, I ran for state rep in my district in South Philly, but I lost. It was a good experience.
Right.
Politics is ugly.
You should have never lost. I don't know why a guy like you would lose in a predominantly Italian area of South Philly. That everybody knows you.
Yeah.
Your name.
Well, I'll tell you one thing: people don't vote.
That's the problem.
It's
that is
staggering.
The problem. Yes.
The percentage, 15% of people vote.
Right.
It's insane when you have a city of 2 million people.
Yeah.
Well, close to it, whatever.
And how many are actually registered?
200 and something thousand
out of the 2 million.
Leaders. I mean, it really is a disgrace.
But
I won't get into that.
Listen, that's why you're here, because we want to hear what you really think of what the story is. But I didn't realize it was that low on people registered.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, the voter turnout is really egregious.
Okay. So
and
that is a big factor.
This is why we see the problems we have, because you have people in power that just want to stay in power.
Yeah.
And there is a certain political, and if you try to upset that, they don't like it.
Right. I think that they can clean up these neighborhoods if we get law enforcement is low on the amount of people that they have, right?
Yeah.
There's not enough people that they're recruiting that want to do the job.
Yeah. And morale is low.
Right. You know,
I mean, to me, this is the way I view the world. If people don't feel comfortable or safe in their own communities, they don't feel safe enough to leave their home.
that's a
Really,
problem.
nothing else matters because
Right.
you could have the best schools in the world. You can have the cleanest streets. You can have the greenest streets.
Yeah.
But if people don't feel comfortable leaving their house, what good is all that?
It's funny you say that. On the way here, I was at a light. I think it was like Broad and I was past Broad and Snyder coming down, and there was about 100 bicycles
Yeah.
coming down the middle, around not motorcycles, just regular bicycles, but there had to have been 100 of them swarming through the lights, not letting people go. It caused a gridlock. And I think these are some of the issues that they can't put an end to, or they're trying to, or they need the leadership to put an end to it, to make people feel comfortable to come out.
Yeah. I mean, how could you have somebody jump on a windshield in front of City Hall, break this woman's windshield
I know.
with two young
I know.
kids in the car?
Right.
And
right.
And there's no consequences for that? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Or the guy who got shot in the head last night in the Philadelphia airport.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. So there was two cops that just came on duty. Both of them are like, 10 and 20 years in the force, families at home. And they caught a gang of guys, trying to break into a car. And then they got shot. One of them got shot and killed, and the other one got shot in the arm.
Wow.
And
I
they can't
was
find him.
wondering. Wow.
So
That's horrible.
right. This is the kind of stuff that is negative publicity for the real estate world.
Yeah.
Because people see that and they're like, oh, well, that must be the whole city.
And they get scared.
Right.
And then they don't want to come into the city, or they want to. But we have so much great potential.
Right.
I mean,
Which leads me to what makes you, why would people want to come to South Philly over Center City?
I love South Philadelphia because it's like a little town in a big city.
Okay.
Your
Everybody
neighbors-
knows everybody.
Everybody knows everybody. Your neighbors look out for you. You go on vacation, you get a package left, your neighbor's going to grab it and take
Right.
it in their house.
It's true.
I mean, it really is like a small town.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to joke I could never get in trouble.
Yeah.
I was a good kid. I wasn't a bad
Yeah.
kid because everybody knew my dad and my mom.
So he says, but if you talk to his father, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what your dad says about that. We're going to ring him in a minute.
Yeah, we're going to
We're gonna
phone
bring
a
him on.
friend.
We're going to phone a friend in a minute, but that's later. All right. So,
But I could never get in trouble because, so-and-so, I saw your son and they were out with their friends. And I don't know, maybe we were being kids, we were being stupid or something. But we never were bad or do anything. We weren't breaking people's windows. But we
it
were
was
kids.
fun. You guys were having
kids.
fun.
Yeah.
A mischief night was a regular mischief night.
Yeah.
You would throw some eggs on a car maybe, or put some chalk or
Yeah.
toilet paper in the trees.
Well, our
Now they
thing
blow
was
your car up.
We
you
used
know.
we used to walk around from neighborhood to neighborhood. You're probably familiar with that. Everybody was associated with their corner.
Of course.
Like I was 10th and Tasker.
Yeah. Yeah. And you would just go with that crew right there.
Yeah.
And do
And
what
that
you
was
got to
your-
do.
yeah.
And that was it.
And you walked from one area to another,
Right.
and that was
Right.
it.
So everybody knows everybody,
Yeah.
no doubt.
That's why I love South Philly.
Right. But I could tell. So I
There's
had
a
an
sense of
office on
community.
Passyunk Ave.
Yeah.
If you remember, it was down the street from you guys. I was across the street from the taco place when you make the bend. What's that taco?
Adobe. It
Yes.
used to be Adobe. Yeah.
So we
I saw
started.
that building.
We started there, and then I moved to Center City to Broad and Lombard. But we did start on Passyunk Ave, and I could see the difference of being in Center City people versus being South Philly people. It's a different type of person.
It's just, it's a real community.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a community that looks after each other, that
Yeah.
watches out for each other, that cares about each other.
They still have restaurant week over where you're at and everything, or
Yeah, February.
okay.
Yeah. That's one of my other hats that I wear. I'm on the board of
Right.
Passyunk Ave.
Well, you're on the board of everything. I mean, your name is.
You know what I joke? I want to be on the board where I get paid,
Yeah.
where it doesn't cost me money.
What's the board that I make money? Right.
I go on all
right.
the boards that I volunteer
Yeah, yeah.
and it costs me money. I want to get to the point where I'm on a board and I make some money.
Yeah,
from
yeah.
it. Like why
That's not
can't-
easy.
That's
not
hard.
easy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but Passyunk Avenue.
yeah, it's as good as it
Restaurant
gets.
Row.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
the
it
chair of
still
the
goes on.
board there, and we have a great community and diversity in restaurants and businesses, and 50% women
Yeah.
owned.
Right.
It's really the epitome of what I call
So it's
Main
funny you
Street
say that because I
America.
see a lot of single women that are buying right now
Yeah.
over single men. I'm going to say 25 to almost 50% of, well, no, 50% of my deals are single women that are buying houses on their own. And I'm not talking about $100,000 house here. I'm talking about $200,000-$300,000.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. A lot of young professionals, that are coming in.
And that's how it should be. I mean, there should be that torch passed from one generation to the
Right,
next.
right.
That's like the natural cycle.
Right.
Next, my generation, generations below me, they buy houses and it continues.
So I'm a first-time buyer coming into South Philly. Okay. I go to you. I say, what's the best 3 neighborhoods or the best 3 streets or the best 3 areas that, go from, Broad and Washington all the way up to the stadium. Where do you think I should be going and get a good value for my dollar? Somewhere where, I can feel somewhat safe and, a half decent school.
I think the 4 zips of South Philadelphia, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, 7, 4, 8.
Okay.
You still get a lot of good bang for your buck.
Okay.
Especially in 4, 8.
4, 8.
4, 7 is kind of priced out.
All right.
4, 6, because that
4, 6 is
encompasses
not
Graduate
bad.
Hospital.
Right.
4, 5, you got Point Breeze. You had a lot of development there. But 4, 8, you could get a lot of bang for your buck down there. I mean, I'm still 2-story house, renovated, updated.
Right.
350. Versus, I mean, like Fishtown, Northern Liberties, all the brewery town, different story.
That's a different story.
Where you're spending maybe 4, 5, 600,000
easily, which is not cheap.
And then even around where I'm at, right off, because I live right off of my office, Passyunk Avenue. But you could still get a decent little house. Probably needs some work, 250, 275. And maybe you're spending 350, 375 for something that's not as updated, but more updated.
Right.
I would say 250 is probably more of a grandmom house.
Right.
You need to put some sweat equity, excuse me.
Are you seeing, so these prices of these houses in South Philly, they're going to start coming down, or they're going to hold their value, or what do you think?
I think they'll probably come down slightly.
Yeah.
And then they'll rebound.
Okay.
And then because we always go up slow but steady.
Right.
That's the good thing about one of the good things about
it doesn't lose its value.
Yeah. It holds on.
Right. Right.
And if you're going to hold it for a long term, I mean, 3 to 5, 10 years, you're going to see some appreciation. I can't guarantee that.
Now, if I'm an investor,
you are.
like let's say I'm a first-time investor and I said, Mike, I'm coming into the city to buy an investment property. What do you think? Is it worth it right now? Is it, to buy in the city an investment property, or, I want to buy maybe a duplex or a triplex? What do you think?
If you can find them.
Yeah.
I mean, the multifamily market is
it's going crazy.
Inventory is even less than
I know,
single family
because everybody wants to be a landlord.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can get decent rent.
Yeah.
It pays the mortgage, gives you a little cushion, extra on top of it.
How about off-market deals? You've seen?
There's some few there. I mean, I think most people are going to want to test the market because people are more educated.
Yeah.
Today, they know the value of their homes versus 50 years ago, where
right.
You still need a realtor. Don't get me wrong.
That's what I mean. You get it for sale by owners, but usually they're not that successful.
Or they're overpricing it. They don't know the market.
Because they think that their houses are worth,
$100,000 more than that's worth.
Well, it's South Philly for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And they all think it's
if the appraisal comes in low in South Philly, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
They will hunt you down. And but that's not only in South Philly. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting down the people that we live with. This is everywhere, right? Because I'll go home and get killed right now. So for saying that, but it's everywhere. If the values come in low, like everybody thinks their house is worth $500,000, $600,000, it's not. It was maybe in 2001 when there was or 2021 when there was a pandemic, or 2020.
Yeah.
But now it's not worth that.
We're coming back to reality. And this is the problem, that people are not getting that your house is not worth $600,000 anymore. It's now worth $500,000. I'm seeing that in 145, the Reserve. Yeah.
Packer Park itself.
Yeah.
The villas, Sienna Place, they're sitting.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, they are.
They're not
There was
selling.
at one point a lot of inventory down there.
There was.
I think it's come off a little bit, but they are sitting a little bit.
Right.
Things are,
because I think that these prices are going to start leveling out. unless the rates come down. If the rates come down back to the 5s or in the 6s, then everybody will come off the fence.
Then it'll hold.
Right.
Yeah. Then the values will hold.
Yeah.
And they may even go up a little bit.
Right. Because there's going to be a bidding war again. Right.
Demand's still strong.
Yeah.
What I say is you only have so much houses. You can't build much more, especially in South Philly. There's no land.
Right. There's nowhere to go. Unless you're going to go to the Navy Yard maybe or no? Down there?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I say that
That's
too. I run down there, right? So I run around along the water in the Navy Yard, and they have all that land down there, which they could easily build if they wanted to. But will people go? Will they live down there?
The problem with down there is you have to have transportation.
Oh,
you
sure.
either have to have a car,
you have to have
or
a
you
car.
got to Uber,
right?
Or you got a bike,
right?
There's no subway. There's no bus.
No.
Well, there might be a bus.
Well, they take the people all to go to work there.
Yeah.
So they could get a bus maybe from there, but
could get SEPTA down there,
but that's the only spot that I could think of in South Philly that they would have a spot to build.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that really is the only land left.
Right. So
that's why I always think long term.
Yeah.
You're still going to have a good investment.
Tell me about rental raiders. All right.
I told you
I saw that. Now I saw this guy has a lot going on, man. All right. I'm not joking now. This guy has a lot going on. So, I just caught my eye, right?
Yeah.
So I said, he's the owner of Rental Raiders.
Yeah.
First of all, I'd never heard of him. I said, but this sounds, interesting,
Yeah.
right? So you tell me.
So the backstory is about 9 years ago, when I started in the business, I started really working with my dad with his rentals. I would show his rentals.
Okay.
Run around.
So you're like the showing agent.
Yeah.
Right.
I would meet tenants, which I hate giving away all my secrets. I give all my secrets away.
Right. George, are you writing this down?
If you're starting in the real estate business,
let me tape this.
Yeah. If you're starting in the real estate business, start with rentals.
Okay.
It's a great way to make a quick
You're
dollar.
saying as far as buying, or starting with
I'm sorry. Start with tenant representation or landlord representation.
Okay.
Finding somebody an apartment.
Right.
Yeah.
So be like a rental agent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great way to meet potential buyers, future sellers.
Right.
And that's where I started.
Okay.
So I rented a lot of my dad's personal apartments. And
there's money in that.
Oh, you make great if you do 10 a month.
Right. You'll make what you're making as a real estate agent just selling
where
it.
You got to do one deal in 3-4 months.
Right. Okay.
So I always tell newer agents, start there.
Be the rental
and
agent.
start with your family and friends because you might have a friend that's looking for a new place.
Right. And they're moving.
You call them, hey, I could send you a quick list of properties and let me show you one and I'll make a commission.
Right. That's easy.
So long story short, oh, sorry, my phone's ringing.
Sorry.
So that's where I started. So I would always show apartments and I would get a question of well, how's this place? How's the landlord, how's the neighborhood, whatever. And I started doing research and I said, man, there's really no universal site for apartment ratings. So I did some more research.
As far as the internet.
Yeah.
Right.
And real estate reviews are a hard thing because you don't have, especially apartment, you don't have a lot of turnover.
Right.
It's hard to get people to write a review.
Right.
I'm sure you know, even in
I know.
You try, hey, can you, I did a great job. Can you let people know that?
You know what they say to me? Yeah, Alex, I'll do it. And then they never do it.
And then they never do it.
Right.
Or if it's a negative experience, which not with us, but
we don't want to know.
We don't want to know, but that's when they tend
That's
to
when
write.
I don't ask.
Yeah.
If I know, because I already have a feeling that they're going to give me a negative. So I'm saying this guy, I'm not going to ask, and this guy I will ask. But then the guy that I do ask, who had an awesome experience, still doesn't do it.
No.
So
I met Drexel, and I have this idea of, there should be a site somewhere. And I did my research. I met another startup, and I said, I really want to pursue this idea. And the School of Entrepreneurship there, I was in the business school, but they have School of Entrepreneurship. They really guided me in saying, I'm going to try to find you a connection to build this idea. And that's where Rental Raider. But Rental Raider was born from showing
is Rental Raider a site right now?
Rental Raider's live. You go to rentalraider.com.
And then when I go on there, what am I going to see?
You can review of an apartment that you live in.
You review the actual apartment that was rented to you.
Yeah. So if you lived in, say, 1234 Main Street, you'd go on there. You would type in 1234 Main Street, say I lived at, apartment 2F,
Okay.
whatever, from 2022 to 2023.
Yeah.
How was the landlord? Great, responsive, fixed things fast. How was the neighborhood? Oh yeah, close to restaurants.
Nice.
There's a grocery store nearby. How was
Okay. So you're
property.
basically reviewing everything that has
About
to do the
yeah,
area
about the
and the
property
place.
and the landlord.
and the landlord.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that
And a lot of people
light
don't like
bulb.
their landlords, right?
Well, that's going back that they have a negative experience, but we want positive.
Right,
we want
exactly.
a mix of everything.
Right. We like our
Yeah.
landlords. We don't.
So we launched that, and I've been working on it ever since, like 2017.
Okay. I mean, must be doing good, right?
Slowly, organic growth. I haven't done because
Right.
I got kind of busy with the brokerage.
Right.
That I kind of put that to the back burner. But
Are you running the whole brokerage right now?
me and my dad.
You and your dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Rental Rater's kind of taken a back seat, but I really want to focus on it because there's a need for it.
Yeah. And rental agents, I'm sure they're out there that are looking for jobs too.
Yeah.
Right. That probably could help you on that site.
Yeah.
The rents, do you see them going down soon?
I think they'll level off.
Because these landlords have gotten a little bit crazy
Yeah.
with what they're asking.
When there's a lot of building, which is good in my mind, but all that building is going to create more inventory, and I think rents will stabilize.
Okay.
Because people want tenants, and they want them to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the most important things is I want you to stay.
Sure.
If I can get you for a year,
If you can
but
get a
if I
good
could get you
tenant,
for 2-3 years, I
right.
want you to stick around because it
See,
costs you
I've been
more.
on the fence with buying a rental property. I mean, I'm horrible. Like I've been in the business 25 years. I haven't bought a rental property.
Really?
Yeah. I've like gotten to the point where I'm going to do it. And then I back out. And I think it's because I don't know too much about handyman stuff. Right. And I'd have to hire somebody probably to do everything.
Yeah.
Or a management company to do everything. And then I'm thinking to myself,
That's where you hire me.
Right. Is it worth it? Right. Yeah. Are you still going to make money other than having the property itself and building the equity? Or are you going to get a positive flow on top of it? Is the thing that you got to find out.
If you look at all the pieces of the puzzle.
Right. It's got to be a good buy.
Yeah. And the cash flow is going to be strong. You do the background check and make sure you get good tenants, and then make sure the bones are good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And don't try to get ahead on that maintenance. Make a jump on that. If you know the hot water tank is 15 years old, just go out and put a new one in. You don't have to worry about it.
Right. Right. I like it. Maybe I'll go to you.
Call me. I'm here. And that's been my specialty.
Yeah, I know that.
From the beginning.
You're the right guy. Okay, so some of the common mistakes that we're seeing out there for buyers that are coming into the market in South Philly. What are you seeing? What's a common mistake that they come to you, they seem solid, good people. You might even know their family because everybody knows everybody, right? So they're referred from somebody on the street or whatever. What's the common mistakes then that you're running into and then could kill a deal on your side?
Well, I'm a firm believer of not just jumping into it to do it. Like you have to have your heart, your mind, and the financial end of it into the deal.
Right.
You have to want to make this commitment. Just don't buy a house because you see your friends buying a house or it's
have a
seems
reason
like the
to
logical thing to do. I mean, it requires a lot of thought.
Right.
And you really got to make that commitment to being a homeowner. So my first thing is just, unless you really love the first property, odds are you're not going to buy the first home you see.
Of course. Unless.
Just don't jump in on the first
unless
thing.
you just want to buy something to buy something.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, don't let your impulses and your emotions dictate, where you want to be.
Yeah.
And just don't buy it to settle, just to settle on, this is the house I want,
Right.
Remember, because you're going to be living there.
Sure.
So you got to love it.
So that's a huge mistake. Someone just jumping in and saying, I'll just take it because I take it. And then
because
get
of the
cold
market,
feet.
because it's still crazy out there.
Right.
I mean, the supply's still low. And if something's priced right, no matter the state of the economy or the market, it's going to sell.
Yeah.
People are always going to buy real estate. They always need a home to live in.
How about this for a mistake? Mike, I'm coming to you from another agent because, Yeah, they told me to waive the inspection on every offer that I put in. They told me to waive the appraisal, the inspection, waive everything. What's your feeling on that? I don't, I see a lot of that
No,
in order to win an offer, which is really bad in my eyes,
especially a first-time buyer.
especially a first-time buyer waiving an inspection. Are you running into that? Number one, which I'm sure you are. And then what are you telling them?
Well, the first thing is you should always do an inspection.
You
Is
have
my
to.
belief,
I agree.
especially if it's your first house, because
Right.
it's not only about learning about things that might be wrong and defects. You get to know about a house and what
Yeah.
you need to do to upkeep a property.
Sure.
So that's not, I always say that. And if they don't want to do an inspection, I make them sign a release that I told them to do an inspection. But
You
they
actually
chose-
say that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to cover you.
Yeah.
Right.
I always recommend. I mean, first of all, a seller can't tell you not to do one because it comes to question.
But they don't want to do any repairs, right? So they don't want to hear any flack. They want you just to sign the contract. And if you got a problem with the house, that's your problem.
Well, then you move on to the next one
I agree.
because there's always going to be another
There's
one.
always going to be another one because we wouldn't be here how many years later?
Yeah.
There's always going to be another house.
And then what happens to you as the agent when you sell them that house, they don't do the inspection, then they call you 5 years later.
That something blew up in the house.
The heater went. You told me not to do an inspection. Now you lost a future client.
Yeah.
For a quick buck.
It's not worth it.
You know what? One thing I stray away from, sometimes I'll do it if I know both parties, but I am a firm believer in not doing dual representation. I know I'm changing the subject, but
listen, I'd like to hear this because this is what I see a lot of too.
I don't think you adequately can represent both parties. How could I get the seller the highest price possible and also get the buyer the lowest price possible?
I agree. You're going against yourself.
But I have done it if I know both parties. Now, if I get a call, a signed call, or a lead through Zillow or wherever it comes from,
Yeah.
I immediately tell the person, look, I like to not do dual representation. I'll give you to one of my agents in my office, their experience.
Sure.
If you don't have an agent,
Yeah.
or if you want to go find your own agent, that's fine. I mean, or maybe I'll show you the property and then
Right. Different
somebody
story.
else writes the contract
Sure.
because I don't want to be in that situation.
Where you're actually bidding against yourself. Like you
Yeah.
have the one person bidding.
And I tell, especially investors, when they call and they want to make lowball offers, I don't really need the money.
Yeah.
And that's not being cocky.
I think
That's just like, I don't need it.
There's
that
a lot
bad
of desperation right now with a lot of these agents, I
to
think.
get a deal.
To get a deal. Get something on the books. It's been a tough market. That's all I hear all day. A lot of layoffs, a lot of, unfortunately, people losing their jobs. And, it's just not a situation that you want to be in. So unfortunately, you move to a desperate move where you tell people to do things that they probably shouldn't be doing because you get burned.
And you're trying to get the deal.
Right. It's
And
the same as the mortgage business.
Is it worth selling your soul to the devil?
Not for one deal.
No.
Not
Long
for
term,
one deal.
big picture.
Right. If you're in it for a career, then you're going to tell them the right thing.
Which you have to be. I mean, I'm a believer. You're
Same
a
as
believer
me.
too. You have to be really successful. You have to be committed to this
Sure.
business. I mean,
You got to be all in or all out.
Yeah.
Like even part-timers, which I don't like to put down part-time loan officers or part-time real estate agents. Listen, if you need to have a job, doing something where you could pay your bills in a tough market like this, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put them down. You got to put food on the table and feed your family. But I haven't seen really successful part-time loan officers and real estate agents. You got to be all in.
Yeah.
Like around the clock.
You got to hustle.
Constant.
You got to
You got to live and breathe it.
Yeah.
On the weekend, at nighttime, every night.
Yeah.
That's just it. There's no magic bullet.
This is not a 9 to 5.
Right.
It's not. I mean, it's just not. I mean,
so
and the other thing is, this is not a business where you can glamorize it on social media.
no. Well,
Like I post all my listings,
Sure.
but I do that to market myself,
Sure.
to market my listings.
that's what I do. I market that I'm at closings.
Yeah.
I market that I work with agents like you because people like to see that, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you go to a closing and you show the people's faces and you do a picture with them, they like that too because it makes them feel good.
But if you're doing that all day,
no,
and you didn't sell
then I
one
don't
home,
have time to, right, which is a lot of that.
I see that all the time.
I know.
That drives me up a wall.
So if I'm coming into South Philly, because there's a lot of South Philly agents and I know a lot of them. If I'm coming into South Philly, what am I looking for as far as in an agent that I know is going to take care of me? Like what traits am I looking for? And, do they need to live in South Philly or does it matter that I pick an agent from the Northeast to represent me in South Philly?
No, I don't think that. I mean, if you know your market, I mean, I wouldn't go sell in Allentown. I don't know Allentown.
Right.
But I could sell in South Jersey. I could sell in Center City. I could sell in the suburbs because I'll learn those markets.
Yeah.
But that's another part of it. You got to put the time and the energy in to learn that market if you want to sell.
Should I automatically go to a full-time agent?
I don't think so. I mean, because you could be a part-time agent and still have the hustle and drive and the commitment. What I would look for, experience.
Yeah.
I'd look at the number of transactions they've done. Is there a variety in price ranges, right? Do they only sell $200,000 home? Do they sold $1 million home? Have they sold 500? I mean, that kind of speaks to the agent, I think. They're willing to work with a cross-section of all different buyers.
Cousins, friends, sister's brother told me to call Jeff down the street because Jeff just got his real estate license and I heard Jeff's good. Is that,
Jeff could be good.
Jeff could be good. We don't know, but
we don't know. But
usually,
I think you got to do some research, about the person.
I mean,
and you got to see
in the mortgage business. I always, we're using my brother's sister's friend's aunt who's in the, she's really good, Alex. She's next thing I know, the aunt blows the deal up, and then I get the deal the week of closing, and we wind up closing it. So. It's not always because it's your family friend or your sister's friend next door or your brother's uncle or whoever it is. You can't trust everybody just because you got to really scope the person out and see who they are. Yeah.
And you got to learn. And I think there's got to be a relationship. A relationship in the sense of you have to be able to work together.
Yeah.
If there's not that feeling.
You got to have a rapport with the person. Right.
And that's what I do when I make a recommendation of a mortgage lender.
Right.
I give them a list of people.
Yeah.
You call them. Who are you comfortable with? You go with that person.
Right.
Unless they have somebody in mind already. But you have to have that rapport.
Now, if they come with somebody already in mind that you have no idea who they are, where they're from, it's an out of state,
I'm doing my research with them on them.
Yeah.
Because the most important thing for me is when I'm a buyer's agent, right? I want to get that deal to the closing table.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure this person can get the job done.
Right.
Like I know I could sell them a house.
Right.
But if they got to go for financing.
And the guy lives in Michigan and it works in a call center, that's a problem.
Say no more.
Right.
I won't name any names.
We're not going to go
We're not going to name the companies, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. So,
and I stay clear.
I don't want to name any names either because, it would be bad. But if you, how about abbreviations? Can we do abbreviations? No, I'm not going to do that.
I know what you mean.
I'm not gonna
and the big banks. I always say, avoid the big banks.
I get the phone call every week, they went through such and such bank or this bank or this credit union or whatever it may be. And you got to get them out of there. Because they're not getting any response from the loan officer and they're not getting anybody back and all that stuff.
Well, the best thing that I have heard over the years is, well, we have a relationship there. And I'm sorry, but a bank, a big bank, maybe a local bank, small 2-3 branches, that you can have a relationship with. But if you're trying to bank with Wells Fargo and you don't have $50 million with them, they don't care about you.
Right.
I'm sorry, but they don't. I mean,
they don't care because you're just another. They don't care about anybody because you're doing so many deals in the whole country. You're just another number.
Now, granted,
it's true.
If you have $50 million with them, 25 million, then they're going to pay attention to you.
But you're not going to be
because you banked with Wells Fargo since 2008.
Right, but if you have 25 or 30 million, you're not talking to me and you.
You're going right to you're going to the higher ups.
Me and you are out of the picture.
But I love that.
Yeah,
I've had that conversation when I'm on the seller's end.
Right.
Wow, so-and-so, they have a relationship with this bank.
Yeah.
And they don't care.
No.
I'm sorry. They will tell you everything you want to hear.
Sure.
And then they'll say, no, you're denied.
Yeah. The week of closing.
And then
we
there
get a
comes
problem.
Alex.
Yeah.
He's got to save the day.
Right.
I got to explain myself to my client.
Right. Which makes you look bad.
But it happens. But it happens when you don't do your due diligence and you don't do your research.
Right. Yeah. The South Philly market is evolving. Right. So, you got, like you said, you're seeing, I guess, more younger generation now coming in.
Yeah, I think it's that transitional.
You're seeing
the older,
right? The 20-year-olds are starting to come in to keep this market going here. I think there's a lot of older school agents too.
Yeah,
right.
And there's a lot to learn from the older school agents.
Right. So I think you're going to see that evolution coming up. And unfortunately, I'm not going to put down the young agents because I know you guys are out there cranking and I do business with a lot of you.
And they're working hard.
But you got to communicate. Nowadays, you're not getting they don't respond. If you send me a deal and I'm working with your client, I got to be able to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're a buyer out there right now, then you're looking for an agent and you're having a problem getting them on the phone to respond to an email or a text or a phone call, you got a problem here. I mean, I hate to say it.
You got to be available.
Because you don't want to be calling the mortgage guy saying, Mike sent me to you, but I can't get a hold of Mike.
Yeah.
Mike never answers my call. Mike never gets back to me. Mike is, he's on the internet, playing whatever he's doing, doing his thing. But he won't respond. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do next.
Yeah.
How much of that?
There's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that.
And I love my dad. I love him to death. But he's got an old school. I mean, he communicates.
Does he respond?
He responds. He wants an answer. But I'll tell you a funny thing that he does. He refuses to put in the MLS instructions for a listing. He loves it for the agents to call him.
Okay, so he's old school.
He's old school. That's
old school.
But see, that drives me up a wall. If it's a vacant property, I said, just put the lockbox in.
Right. Why do you got to talk to the person?
And let me preface this when he listens to this. I love my dad. I learned everything. I had a leg up over a lot of agents because I had him. Mike, it drives me up. He's
starting to worry over here. It's like
he's going to watch us.
Maybe we'll refilm this piece. Let's start over, rewind.
But no, he wants to tell them the story. I'm like, sometimes they don't want to hear the story of the.
Yeah. Well,
grandmom died and they left the house with the 5 kids. He likes
to build that rapport.
But he likes the communication,
yes,
which is what it is. Too.
Which is what it is.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to get on the phone anymore. I understand. I don't like to get on the phone a lot either because I'm too busy doing 10 things at one time.
Yeah,
for you to get me on the phone, I lose an hour then.
Yeah.
And then it throws my whole day off. But sometimes you have to because people don't get it.
Yeah.
And if you ignore them, then you're going to lose them. They'll go to another agent. They'll drop you and go to another loan officer and say, you just didn't communicate with me. You didn't get back to me.
And you didn't tell me what needed to be done.
Right.
No, I do see that a lot. Or at the last minute, the deal, there's a problem. Why didn't I know this 3 weeks ago?
Yeah. Loan officers, if you have a loan officer out there that you're in the market with and you get, you got to stay on top of the loan officer and keep asking them what's going on with the deal.
Yeah.
You can't just trust them 100% to think that everything's okay. Even me, being as long as I am, have problems on every deal, right? Whether it be an income issue, a credit issue, whatever it may be, right? So,
or a piece of documentation you need and you're trying to get a hold of the buyer, the agent to get
and you can't get
to the client to get it.
You have to make sure that you're checking in on your own deal. Now, you don't have to be beating up the agent and the loan officer every hour saying, what do you need from me now? What's going on? What's going on?
Yeah.
That's a little much, but a check-in maybe, every other day or something, or a couple times a week.
Once
or
a week,
once
maybe,
a week, maybe. Twice a week, maybe. Say, hey, just checking in. Do you need anything from me? Is everything going okay? Because it's the silent killers that sometimes creep up on you the week of closing.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm on their phone saying, we got a problem. This deal's going to blow up. I need this, this, and this. And we got to jump quick because it's closing in a week from now. That's the kind of stuff you got to watch for.
It's funny that you said that because we were having that conversation a week ago. And my dad said that communication, People don't communicate.
They don't do it.
It's like you were listening in.
Yeah. Like
As
I'll
he
send,
calls in.
is he calling right now?
Yeah.
Let's get him on the line. Mr. G.
We're on a podcast now.
Yeah, we're on podcast. Yeah. So I think and as new buyers, not only coming into South Philly, because I know I keep gearing this back to the South Philly market, any market, you have to get the communication. And if you don't, it's a red flag right off the bat. Like if you're having communication issues the first week that you're doing a deal, you better be really on the agent and the loan officer, or you better be finding something new, because you're going to find a surprise pretty quick. And it's a surprise you don't want.
And it's the surprises that kill the deals.
Right. So listen, last week I did this, and I want to ask you your predictions for 2024, because I think I'm going to make that a theme as we go into the new year here. What do you think is going to happen next year in the South Philly market, in Passyunk Ave, in that whole area? What's going to happen with this city? Are we going to get a better name? And is it going to be more volume and more transactions being done? Or is it going to be what we're looking at still now? This kind of weird, cloud that is in the real estate and mortgage business right now, where everybody's walking around thinking they don't know what's going to happen.
I think we're going to have a smooth landing.
Okay.
I think we're coming in. We're hitting a little turbulence.
Yeah.
But we're going to have a smooth landing.
What inning are we in?
We're in the 7th.
Yeah. Okay. I'll hold you to that.
We're coming around the home.
Yeah, we're coming around.
I think we're coming around the home. I really do. Because I think what's going to happen, you're going to see the value of this city comparatively to other cities, and you'll see some migration back.
Okay. People actually coming back into the city.
Yes.
I like that.
The framework is there. The bones are good.
Right.
You
just got to clean it up.
Just needs a little cleanup.
Right. I see that.
And historically, we have always just chugged along. We've grown.
Yeah.
But we just chug. We're not the New Yorks or the Miamis or the LAs where they see these dramatic, huge spurts up, but then huge spurts down.
This is just a level.
Where like slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that. And I could see rates coming down too.
I think rates will come down.
Right.
They're not going to go to 3%. We may never see that again.
No.
But 5.
I don't 5.
6.
I agree.
Historically.
Right.
The average.
Yeah.
Which is the norm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the economy will bounce back.
And inflation comes down.
I think inflation comes down.
Yeah. That's good. All the way around.
The other thing is employment is strong.
Yeah, I think a lot of these reports are somewhat skewed sometimes. I don't know if it's 100% as good as what they say it is. That's just my opinion.
I could agree with that. Mean, they do fluff the number. I mean, they're politicians. That's what their job is, to fluff it up.
I know. And I'm calling them out right now on my podcast because I'm tired of the fluff. I want the real numbers, so that the people know what's going on with these employment numbers, because these employment numbers dictate the interest rates, right? If the employment numbers are really high and everything's great, then the interest rates go up. If the employment numbers are where they are right now and they're just okay, or they're lower than what the fluff is, then the rates do come down.
Yeah.
Right. So let's tell the truth.
Well, let's talk about an election coming up. 2024.
Right.
You got a presidential election.
Right.
You got Senate. You have the whole House of Representatives.
Yeah. What happens in an election year, right?
They're not going to keep their position.
They're going to
They
make
want
everything,
the economy to be strong.
Right. Right. So,
I'll go back. Sorry, in a minute.
No,
I'll go back to it. The reason I love this business is at the end of the day, everybody needs a house.
Right.
There are always going to be buyers and sellers.
Well, that's why I'm in this business.
Regardless of the state of the market.
My mother was a title rep her whole life. That's how I got in the business in 1998. She was worked for a title company. So she got me in this, but she always said in my first few years, Alex, people always buy houses. That's it. They're always going to need to buy a house. Like the economy will never stop 100% where people are not buying houses, right? They're always going to buy.
Never going to
right. Never going to go. So, never worry. People have to move. They have to get married. They get divorced. They get, they're having babies. They're moving jobs. They're relocating, whatever it may be. They're always going to buy a house.
Their kids are growing up. They need to move out.
Right.
Sadly, people die.
Yes.
State of life. Family
They're gonna
sells
buy
the
a house.
property.
Right. Estate sale, whatever it may be.
No, truer words have never been spoken,
Right.
but
It's
really,
true. And here
it's
I
true.
am. Here I am
It's true.
20 years later, and people are still buying houses. Even in the worst market right now, people are still buying houses.
And if you have your established business,
Book a business.
and you put
right.
the hours and the time and the commitment that it takes to build that brand in that business, no matter the state of the economy, no matter the state of the housing market, you're still going to do business. Yeah, you're going to have better years. You're going to have slower years.
Well, that's where, everybody wants to make $1 million in this business every year. Right?
It's not going to happen.
They want to make it their first year. And, yeah.
That's a whole nother topic.
But we're not going to get into that. Or I'm going to leave you guys alone. I feel like I've been beating the real estate and mortgage guys up in this, and we're supposed to be talking to Mike.
The young guys, the young men and women. No, I mean, it's good, but you got to put the time and the effort into it and the energy into it.
One last question, because I have a good one for you here. Okay. And this is for the, not only buyers hearing what your opinion is, but also real estate agents hearing what your opinion is too. So Mike has been with Century 21 forever, right? His father built this business from the ground up. That office is not going anywhere. Okay. They're not going out of business. No matter what market it is, bad or good, they're going to make it through. Right?
Yeah.
Let's agree. So
Unless they retire,
right? Which then they'll probably hand it down to somebody else to keep running it. Who knows?
Yeah.
You never know. So why Century 21? Century 21's been a golden name forever. I used to do deals with your office, like I said, back in 06. But before that, I was doing Century 21 deals in Jersey and Advantage Gold and all the other Century 21s in the area. So why Century 21 then over the big guys like Keller Williams and Berkshire and Remax, who sometimes recruit all these agents and get all the big names and all that? Why stick with a Century 21 or a boutique shop like you guys, or a smaller shop, versus being with a why would, even if I'm a buyer getting into the market, why would I want to go with a guy from Century 21 over a big shot at Keller Williams or a big shot at Berkshire? What is the feeling there?
Consistency, experience.
Okay.
And Century 21 has been a staple and a respected
name is forever. Right.
In real estate since the 70s.
Yeah.
And it's a traditional brokerage. It's always going to be here.
Not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. Listen, they had, I will say, late 90s, early 2000s, they were the name.
Big time.
Big time.
Yeah.
They're still the name in the rural parts of the country, the suburbs. The cities, they're not big in.
They never bought into the fact of the Keller Williams, let's take people under us and do all this profit sharing stuff and all that, right? Is that the difference?
Every office is independently owned and operated.
Right.
But you have an autonomy there. We can run our office the way we have to follow the brand guidelines. We're still Century 21, but we can run our office the way we want to run our office.
Right, because it's independent.
And that's the value that I say to agents that want to join our office. You can't do anything illegal.
Wow.
Don't get me wrong,
obviously.
But you have autonomy. You have the ability to go out and build your own little business and be under Century 21 Forrester. And you don't have to worry about the big corporate umbrella.
Right. Same thing as Greentree.
Yeah.
Like I could go work for Wells Fargo, right? Or Bank of America or Chase or any one of the big guys, but I choose to stick with Greentree because it's a smaller company, so.
And you can go right to the owners.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me and my dad.
Same thing.
Same thing.
And take care of a problem on the spot.
Right there and then. Nip it in the butt.
Yeah. I'm sold. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's go work for Century 21. What do you think? That's it's a
family run.
It's family run, which is huge that you don't find.
Generational.
Yeah.
Me and my dad were a great team together. We butt some heads when he doesn't put the lock boxes in the MLS. That drives me up a wall. But
South
love
Philly
him.
guys.
Irregardless, I love
Where would
him.
that come from? That's very weird. It doesn't happen in business in South Philly. They don't butt heads. Everybody gets along. All right. There's no problems. All right. Well, listen. I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
You were
Thanks for
all
having
that
me.
we
This was
expected.
great.
Plus
This was
some.
great.
He was a great guy. He is a great guy.
Thank you, Alex.
He runs
You're
a great
guy.
business. Rental Raiders, which we found out about tonight, which is huge. Go
Check
on
it
his
out.
website. Check it out. I mean, I'm really interested in
Spread
checking
the
it out
word.
myself. Spread the word. Go see Century 21 Passyunk Ave anytime. Like, go check him out there.
Hop in.
If you're going to buy a house, he's the guy, right? He's been in the business. He's seen the markets. He's not scared of 8% interest rates because he's still doing it every day.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
So thank you. And tune in every Wednesday, 9 a.m. I want you to see this episode. I think you're going to love it. And I'm going to see you next week also. And I thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Alex. Oh, that was great.
That was great, man.
Thank you.